Oh yeah! What's up, wrestling fans? How you guys doing? For all colleagues, this night kicked off. I'm here to talk about, so this night kicked off with John Cena and Randy Orton facing each other and standing in front of the wheel, with John Matthews as the sandwich in between Cena and Randy Orton. So this is what he talked about. So he showed us the very matches they could face each other in, and I gotta say, these matches were quite funny, I have to say. And it was funny, I gotta tell you. It was funny. The match is pretty epic. That match would be pretty epic. A pillow fight! 2 guys in a pillow fight? I want to see that match though. A pillow fight? I gotta say, that match would be hilarious. But hey, like Cena said,
leave the best main event of Raw up to chance. At least I like Lady Luck on wrestling.
So, John Cena brings out eTorch to spin the wheel. I don't know who signals it to stop it somewhat, but, it was a predetermined match. But, anyways, so we got a tables match. And apparently that's what happened that night, so we'll be seeing that match a little bit when it comes around. And that's what quite frankly happened. So, we got a table match, we'll see how that match turns out. So, moving on, there was, the night kicked off with a big steel cage match. The steel cage was, was hanging up there, so we were supposed to have a steel cage match later that night, and quite frankly, that's what happened, apparently. So a little bit later on, we had the guest host, quite surprisingly, and, that's what Justin Roberts introduced. And he's the wide receiver, celebrity styles talented, and everybody knew who this guy is with all these signs up there. Chad Ochocinco, I like Chad. I'm calling him Chad Johnson. That Ochocinco stuff he forced it. I think it's ridiculous. Or I call him Miss 85, whatever. But hey, guy still has talent. That's what I respect him for. But this is what happened. Apparently Chad Ochocinco comes out. He says, yeah, he's proud about being here on Monday Night Raw. So he came out saying he's proud of, being here on Monday Night Raw. And then eventually The Miz comes out, because they're both from Ohio. Because they're both stars and stuff. And this is what The Miz talks about. So apparently Miz and Chad have a little heat. The Miz saying, oh, your Bengals team lost last night. Your team's horrible. And saying he's awesome because he's United States champion, Mr. Money in the Bank. They gotta say, these props are really... Miz is pulling great promos with the Money in the Bank. You gotta say, when fans don't take him seriously, apparently then it's been building a great promo. So apparently the anonymous general manager just comes out and decides to announce a match that The Miz is going to be in, since Night of Champions is less than 6 days away, apparently that night. So Miz gets booked in a match, and apparently Alicia Fox was one of the lucky ladies. She's gorgeous now, but she spins the wheel, and then we get a submission match. Luckily enough, I fear to believe. So you can see if we go in, and quite frankly, that's what we got, a submission match. And then, since Chad has the booking power to see who his opponent will be, so apparently...
The wheel determines what kind of non-title match Miz will have tonight. And the general manager says, for Miz's opponent...
So apparently, finally the guest host gets a slight of booking power, because I was tired of the guest host just hanging out and stuff. They just chill. Like, what the heck are they doing with these guest hosts? They just show up there and they're just there for show. So I kind of like them with booking power, because it kind of shows more visibility with the guest host. But fans are getting tired of them, so it's good that they have guest hosts here and there. So luckily enough, he books him against, his boy, which everybody knows it is. It's his man. Everybody knows he is. To kick off this night, yeah, he says that his opponent is, quite frankly, Daniel Bryan, in which the Chad books him against. He said that's his boy. And Daniel Bryan does have great potential. I'm really proud of that. So, apparently that's what happened that night. Moving on, Daniel Bryan gets the upper hand in the match. And then, quite frankly, you can see Alex Riley, still The Miz's valet. Alex Riley is a good valet for The Miz. I'm proud of The Miz getting some alliance there. ever since NXT. But Alex Riley, I think, could have been the next breakout star. But hopefully, he's been doing good. He's doing good show. Now I'm not gonna say the word, but yeah, he's been pulling some great potential. So Miz and Daniel Bryan, his feud is epic, and the Miz has an epic personality. I'm really proud of this this guy. I'm starting to like the Miz because his storyline and how he became pretty epic. He's a nice guy in real life, everybody knows. And Alex Riley does have potential. Hopefully he gets these promos good. Alex Riley and the Miz will make a great tag team. Hopefully become tag team champions in the future. So the Miz could be three-time tag team with Morrison, Big Show, and then Riley. And sometime in the future, if Riley gets a contract, despite him not being the next breakout star. So Miz gets a good upper hand. Alex Riley gets involved. And then when the Miz was about to, when Bryan was about to nail that bell lock, Miz breaks up. He cowards, saying, "Oh, he cannot compete." They're gonna call a forfeit. Then, quite frankly, he said, "No, it's not gonna be a forfeit." So apparently, Alex Riley steps in the ring and he says, "Oh, it's not a forfeit." He's gonna get a replacement, which is none other than his silly valet, Alex Riley. So Alex Riley steps in, and he doesn't get dressed, but Alex Riley just comes in. He gets a good upper hand halfway through the match, but eventually then he gets his butt kicked. Eventually then with this silly bell lock move that Daniel Bryan does, and eventually that's just for the Miz to get upper hand to attack him. I think Alex Riley could have won with jeans and sneakers. I think that would have been more epic. Or he could have come in half dressed and then he could take off his jacket, and get in the match. But yeah, this promo and preview for the Night of Champions has been pretty epic, and I'm starting to like it a lot. So apparently, the Miz hopefully will win. That way, the feud can carry on to Hell in a Cell. Or if Miz loses the title, he can get it back at any attempt with his help from his good valet, Alex Riley. So Jillian Hall and Edge start singing backstage. They had a funny duet. Dana today was funny. They were singing a parody Florida song. You spin my head right round when you go down, when you go down. Yeah, but anyway, so Edge gets into a match. It says next, and luckily they cut that off, to get the, their to see the wheels. But everybody knows this is a predetermined match, quite frankly. But hey, we'll see what happens. So apparently Edge gets booked in a match, and he gets his opponent, which is none other than Evan Bourne. So apparently he gets into a body slam challenge, which apparently Evan Bourne has been getting some good upper hands to get the body slam and stuff, and we all see some good upper hands. Eventually Edge, was able to easily get the win because he's more bigger though. So sorry, my DirecTV signal has been horrible when I was recording Monday Night Raw, but hey, that's what happened, quite frankly. Edge eventually comes to Spear Evan Bourne, which was called unacceptable due to the general manager, apparently, The anonymous general manager, gets attention, say, "Oh, yeah, that was unacceptable. You're going to get another body slam challenge against Mark Henry." Edge tries to get the upper hand. We thought he had the upper hand at first, but eventually Mark Henry just successfully counters. He does his body slam eventually soon. But doesn't do as much because Edge, oh my word, so he does a crossbody. And then eventually soon he does his finish move, the World's Strongest Slam, which calls the match, and Mark Henry gets the win, so that's what happened. So, moving on, we get the Maurice and Ted DiBiase in a mixed tag team matchup, and it's R-Truth against Eve Torres. So eventually they get the song and dance match. One person sings, one person dances, and quite frankly, so we all know R-Truth and Eve Torres, the faces, always gonna have the most epic performance. So they always try to play for the crowd. So apparently, that's what everybody saw. Apparently, so frankly, our Ted DiBiase wasn't gonna forfeit. And his performance, was very silly. Maurice, pull up the good dance, but I think they could have did better than that, especially his heels. They should have tried to play for the crowd, but failed to get attention. And I gotta say, it wasn't as epic as I thought. The Maurice and Ted DiBiase, Maurice needs to spend more time competing in the ring than just sitting there getting these silly matches and these silly bookings. I gotta say, quite frankly, that's what happened. They eventually get, they start attacking R-Truth and Maurice, R-Truth and E-Torres. But eventually, at the end, after E-Torres gets the upper hand, Ted DiBiase's gonna nail the Dream Streak, but crazy enough, R-Truth counters. But you gotta say, I want to see their feud in the mixed tag team matchup sometime next week. I want to see more epic in that, apparently. I had signal problems with the match with Morrison and Sheamus, but the match was pretty much impressive. I gotta say, I pretty much really liked it. So apparently, so John Morrison and Sheamus pulled off an epic match. John Morrison had the upper hand. Chris Jericho interfered, and then then to help Sheamus get the victory, apparently. But the match was very epic, had a lot of pay-per-view potential. And as I said, I thought the Raw Roulette would be horrible, but it turned out it was very epic, and it was a lot of potential, better than the Viewer's Choice night. Viewer's Choice night wasn't as great as I thought it would. So apparently Chris Jericho comes in the ring, protests against Monday Night Raw, continuing Monday Night Raw until he gets what he wants with his spot in the Six-Pack Challenge. So apparently Chris Jericho gets a little steamed about who the GM is. He said he was going to come confront him if he doesn't get back in the challenge. Apparently. So Michael Cole kept saying, "Have your attention." Chris Jericho interrupts, just gets frustrated, saying, "Read it!" So apparently, unfortunately, Chris Jericho was apparently was glad to be back in the Six-Pack Challenge, but he had to go to two guys, the Hart Dynasty, Jericho. He had to go through the Hart Dynasty, Tyson Kidd, and Hart Smith. And apparently Jericho was, quite frankly, in the middle, apparently. So the match had a lot of epic in there. I gotta say, the match was pretty great. And it was a lot of suspense, too. Would Triple H and Chris Jericho get back in the Six-Pack Challenge? I thought he wouldn't, but apparently, eventually, he did. And pretty much Jericho does get back in the Six-Pack Challenge after nailing his finishing move, the Walls of Jericho. And I gotta say, the Walls of Jericho was pretty epic. It looked like a pile driver at first, or like Michelle McCool's finishing move, the Face Breaker. But pretty much, that's not what it seemed like, but it looked like the Face Breaker. But it was the Walls of Jericho. Jericho did nail the victory. Pretty epic match, I gotta say. Oh yeah! So I'll see how Night of Champions comes. Hopefully we could see a lot more than what we bargained for the Night of Champions. So we'll see what comes down. So for Dog Khalid, thank you guys for watching my video, and peace out.